let us talk about the characteristics of the Impressionism art movement. Although there was no single unifying style linked with Impressionism, the painters affiliated with it shared comparable new approaches to the paintings. Many Impressionists preferred to paint en plein air, which simply means outdoors in the countryside of Paris rather than in a studio. This strategy pushed the artist to work quickly while capturing the fleeting effects of lights. The painters choose to convey the overall impression of their topic with short, noticeable dabs of paint rather than pay close attention to the tiny details. To show shadows, the artists used complementary hues instead of black and gray paints. Because synthetic pigments were invented, the paints themselves were also brighter than those used in the prior eras. The artist softened the forms and provided a unique intermingling of hues by applying additional layers of the paint over layers that were still wet. Instead of adding transparent color dimensions, the program added opaque color dimensions. Impressionism art movement artists united with their aim of taking art in a new and radical direction. Each of the artist impressionists had their own distinctive visions, styles, and subject matters.
The Impressionists stunned the world of art in the 19th century, and it took more than 2 decades for them to be recognized and valued. Impressionism was the first distinct art movement of the 19th century that revolved around a series of encounters between different Paris-based artists who were in the search of their artistic independence. In the start of the 19th century, they considered Impressionism as the world's most popular art movement, with the influence that spread throughout Europe and eventually to the USA and the rest of the world, and works as well as pieces by the Impressionist core artists often sold tens of millions of dollars. However, throughout the Impressionism period, artistic differences, conflicts, variations, contrast, and some risks occurred that unfortunately has put Impressionism into an end, and Impressionist was driven apart by external forces, things under control.
So, what is the cultural significance of the movement? Impressionism was a late 19th century radical art movement focusing mostly on Parisian painters. Impressionists rejected classical subject matter in favor of modernism, seeking to produce works that mirrored their surroundings. The focus on how light could define a moment in time, with color providing definition instead of black lines, was what brought them together. Plein air painting or painting outside was highlighted by the Impressionists. Impressionism was first banned by critics, but it has since become one of the most popular and important art movements in Western history.
The era's famous artworks, music and jewelry, Impressionism, sunrise, at the races, Pont Neuf, Entrée du village d'Oisin, Luncheon on the grass, Boulevard Monterey à Paris.
Claude Monet. Monet is widely regarded as one of the primary fathers of Impressionism. Monet enjoyed painting in the open air and capturing natural light in his paintings. Light and atmosphere superseded figures as the subjects of Monet's paintings. Monet's paintings included vibrant colors and interesting compositions. Edouard Monet. Monet's work as an impressionist primarily depicted Parisian life. Monet's subjects were frequently female nudists, which often sparked heated debate. Monet's distinct painting style distinguished him from his peers. In addition, he did not go to any impressionist exhibitions in Paris. In his paintings, Monet wanted to depict everyday life and mundane objects. Monet's painting frequently depicted Paris cafes and bars, the city and urban life, the street and its people, which is the beggars, singers, and workers. Edouard Degas. His work primarily depicted scenes from Parisian life. Human figures, particularly feminine bodies, were his primary focus. Degas' interest in figures was sparked by his academic studies. He disliked the term impressionist, preferring to be described as independent. Dancers, singers, prostitutes all appeared in Degas' works, and he was eager to represent them in novel ways. He painted them in unique angles and positions under artificial light. Pierre-Auguste Renoir. The focus of his work was to capture the modernism and relaxation of Parisian life. He possessed a keen sense of aesthetics, and his abilities as a colorist were highly regarded. He captured the movement of light and shadow masterfully to create some timeless works. His paintings were full of life and brilliant hues, depicting well-dressed Parisians going about their daily lives. Lastly, we have Camille Pissarro. When many of these Impressionist contemporaries refused to show their work at shows, Camille Pissarro was the only one who had shown his paintings in all 8 Impressionist exhibitions. His canvas depicted a peasant daily existence in Paris. Pissarro's art was primarily concerned with the influence of light on color. Politics had a strong influence on him, and one cannot separate politics from his work.